Okie dokie. We should be live. We should be live for a stream right here. Pretty quick one today, probably. Pretty quick one. Be live for an hour. Ideally, we talk about 5 topics here. And then we'll start talking about topics once a few people start getting into here. But yeah, let's see. Once we get a couple of viewers in here, we're good to go. We got 1 concurrent right now. We got uno concurrent viewers. Okay, is there anyone in here? No. No, unfortunately, takes a little bit, obviously, to get it going live. Let's get the ever-dwindling sub count up there, so we can have a contest for how many subscribers we can lose. We're already down 140 in the last week. How are you guys? How are you guys here? What should Caitlin do? Play basketball. Play basketball in the way she can, because she's not good at being anyone other than Caitlin Clark. But yeah, look, we're going to talk a little bit about this. So obviously, there is the elephant in the room now, which is the reason, the topic of conversation that needs to be had, which is the reason why, as you can see, this channel has lost 100 subscribers in the last 48 hours. And is going to probably lose another 100. Like, I reckon I'll go below 60K. So if you guys are, if you guys want to subscribe to someone that's actually going to give an opinion and not just parrot what, or is going to give an actual opinion, whether it's liked or not, subscribe. If not, help us get below 60K, I guess. But yeah, so the Indiana Fever are 4-0 without Caitlin Clark. They're undefeated. They made the finals they nearly made the finals without Caitlin Clark. And the 2025 Fever are back. The way they are playing is a style of play that clearly works for the players on this team when Caitlin's injured, obviously. And one thing is, like, you can see people in and around the organization. The 3 keys to the game. The keys: sprint back on defense. And I got to be very clear, that is probably one of Caitlin's actual, and people want to talk about Caitlin's flaws as a player. That is actually one of them. For me, I think a lot of Caitlin's flaws come with her strengths, as in, the turnovers is because she's looking to make things happen. She is a super aggressive playmaker. So I don't necessarily think that that Caitlin Clark is that is a negative. I don't think the turnovers are necessarily a negative on Caitlin Clark's game, purely because of all the good things in her game, turnovers are inevitable. The turnovers are inevitable. The problem is, the getting back on defense sometimes is definitely an issue. And that's when, if we're talking about flaws of Caitlin Clark, that is 1,000,000% a flaw of Caitlin Clark as a basketball player. Singles, not home run passes. And everything is just about no turnovers, no turnovers, no turnovers. You are not going to be a low turnover team when Caitlin Clark is on your team. You're just not. And even when Caitlin's off the floor, if Caitlin Clark is on your team, there's going to be turnovers. Why? Because high pace, if you take risks and you push the floor, you're going to turn the ball over. Like, if you are a team that is a proactive team, you're going to turn it over. You're going to have more assists. You're going to create more open shots, but you're going to turn it over. And the problem is that like you can mitigate high turnovers if you're creating consistent open shots. Like if high turnovers come at the expense of a lot of open shots, it is what it is. It is what it is. But like not home run passes is basically a we're not the biggest fan. People are like, oh, this isn't the team. Like the team are posting this. I know it's a journalist, but the team are posting this. It's very, very clear that like, again, this is being posted on the team's account. This is a shot at Caitlin Clark. And again, this is not like some sabotage thing. This is a criticism of her game. This is someone clearly who doesn't like Caitlin's game. And again, we've got to be very clear. There is completely not justified criticism, but there is blind hate, which is like the David Dennis Jr. guy. Nothing Caitlin Clark will ever do will be enough for him. And then there is people that just don't like a high risk style of basketball. And it feels to me like from top to bottom, this organization is a whole bunch of people that don't like high risk basketball. It's a whole bunch of people that want the way it was. They want low risk. They want the Indiana Fever to be a team that's, solid. That their whole goal is to be as solid as possible. And there's nothing wrong with that view of the sport of basketball. Like, I would love to go out there and say, oh no, this is a terrible thing, but it's just two different philosophies on the sport of basketball. And for me, this feels like everything in this organization, everything surrounding this organization is on the side of we would rather be solid and mistake-free than be aggressive and making mistakes. That we would rather go and do that. Genuinely, it is what it is. And it just feels like that's happening. Am I wrong? Want to turn Steve Nash into John Stockton? Did Stockton turn it over quite a little bit as well? More so, they'd rather turn Steve Nash into Mario Chalmers. That's my thing. Where Mario Chalmers' job was to pass the ball to LeBron and just spot up. Chalmers never did anything. I think it's more so they'd rather have Mario Chalmers. And like we're now at the stage where it just feels like from top to bottom. It feels like from top to bottom that the org is heavily like pushing towards the risk-averse nature of this. We would rather not make mistakes than do stuff that could be great or could make us mistakes because we're confident enough in Kelsey Mitchell. We're confident enough in Kelsey Mitchell that nobody else, we're okay with one player taking risks because if we make this a dogfight game, and it's an ugly game, we are confident that Kelsey Mitchell is going to take us home. We're confident that Kelsey Mitchell is going to go and take us home. And look, that's fine. Because Kelsey Mitchell doesn't turn the ball over because it's very rare that she passes. Like, it's not common. It's not common that Kelsey Mitchell passes the ball. And I don't know what the end game... Like, unless the end game is trading Caitlin Clark, nothing else makes sense. Nothing else makes sense. But yeah, look, it is from everything, even before the game, like, everyone losing their minds at this, 170 replies to 179 likes. Like, there is the prevailing public narrative. And by the way, like, obviously an organization shouldn't be, like, they shouldn't go out of their way to change things based on fans being crazy. On crazy fans. You don't do that. That's an unserious organization. An organization that makes decisions based on fans or based on the optics of fans is a dumb organization. But when you know there is this narrative amongst fans that your team is against one player, and you essentially post something that could be 100% read as a sneak diss to that one player, you know what you're doing. Whoever the social media admin is, this was 100% flagged. This is one that was 100% flagged. Like, no home run pass, he's trying to take shots at Caitlin Clark when the opportunity arises. Like, they know what they're doing. You've got Lynn Dunn retweeting. You've got Lynn Dunn retweeting hit pieces. Rosie, make it make sense. Let the team play. No ridiculous rotations. Coach sabotaged the team. Like, and this isn't even selling out. This is giving an opinion. You're allowed. This is a completely. You're allowed to have this opinion. You are allowed to have this opinion, and I think we need to very clearly differentiate the we don't like risk. We would rather have more careful, risk-free players than risk takers, which is a fine opinion to have. We need to, and just like in the WNBA, when they deem stalkers and people finding your house and sending you an image of your house as the exact same level of online hate as saying that you're bad at basketball. Like, it's all under one umbrella. We can't put the Caitlin Clark hater in the we just don't like her game versus the we don't like, we're going to use any excuse we can, we're going to keep moving the goalposts. Like, there's two levels of hate. One absolutely is fine, and there's nothing wrong with this. There's nothing wrong with having the opinion that, you know, you'd rather a point guard make singles rather than home runs. Just like, I don't know baseball, but I assume there's probably numbers, there's probably some sort of logic to the sport that teams would rather have players that just consistently hit singles than players that go for home runs. I don't know anything about baseball, but I would assume it's the same. You look at football, like there are players like Mesut Ozil, who was one of the best players in the world, and then all of a sudden Arsenal just didn't want him anymore because, you know, he didn't do certain things well enough, he didn't defend well enough, he didn't press well enough, and it took them 4 years to be a competent team again after basically just shunning him. Like, it happens in sports, and it is genuinely one of those things where this comment, when both the star and coach aren't system flexible and don't like the same system, it's a bad matchup. Absolutely. But yeah, look, I know this isn't the end, but like, it is what it is. But did any of you guys see this? Did any of you guys see this? So Alyssa Thomas elbowed Lexi Hull in the face. Again, she was just shooting a layup. I will never be one to defend Alyssa Thomas's intent. But she went for a layup and did elbow Lexi Hull in the face. There was no intent in this. She wasn't looking at Lexi Hull. She is either the, like, has the greatest body control known to man, or this was accidental. But at the same time, Lexi Hull has her nose bloodied up. Unless Alyssa Thomas before this was laughing. She looks over at Lexi Hull and starts laughing. But let's take a listen to listen right here.
Lexi Hull, at least for the time being, will head to the bench.
You got to be ready to rebound right here. You got to box out.
But again, like, throughout the game, you saw a thing calling freaking Lexi. She called Lexi a crybaby a bunch of times after getting her nose busted as well. That time she's pointing to the crowd. But, like, she got booed by her home fans. Like, that is bad. That is bad, getting booed by your home fans. To be fair, the funniest one ever was in Connecticut's last game, where for 40 minutes, Olivia Nelson-Ododa got booed by the Connecticut fans. And people were like, oh no, she's getting booed because it's... I posted and I was like, oh no, getting booed. And at a home game in Connecticut is one of the funniest things. People are like, oh, it's all UConn fans that are there to watch UConn players their last game. And I'm like, oh no, went to UConn, you fucking dumbasses. Olivia Nelson-Ododa got booed by UConn fans even though she went to UConn. And yeah, it's one of these things where she got booed on her home court. And obviously, again, the thing with Alyssa Thomas is, look up Alyssa Thomas, all laughs and giggles when she's winning dirty, playing up. Mercury's so lame that Arizona fans are cheering for the Fever. And like, that's the crazy thing, is that I wonder what the attendance for this game was. I wonder what the attendance for this game compared to their normal one was. Because I know the Fever haven't been doing good attendance-wise this year. They haven't done well at all. So there was 17,000 people at the game to watch the Fever without Caitlin Clark. And the Mercury had 9,000. Holy shit. Oh, it's the one time. It's the only time they were playing the Fever in Phoenix. Because they advertised it as, this is the one game. They advertised it as the only time you're going to get to see Caitlin Clark. I shit you not. They advertised the game as that. And they didn't even get to see her. At least they still showed up. At least the away fans are still showing up to see the Fever. The Fever home fans really aren't. They're really not. Like, the Fever's home attendance has been pretty grim. It has been pretty grim with or without Caitlin. Like, especially people showing up. A lot of people buying tickets and not showing up for the Fever. It's not ideal. But it's one of those things where the fans in this game were obviously a mixture of Fever and Phoenix fans. And one of the craziest things about this is Sophie Cunningham basically got booed for 40 minutes here. Like, Sophie pretty much got booed for the entirety of the game. From start to finish, they were booing Sophie Cunningham. And that's one of those things where I'm like, this is kind of a mad one. Seeing a player getting booed the entire time. And then suddenly they dislike Alyssa Thomas. Like, even the fans that were there cheering for the Fever were booing Sophie. But they were all booing Alyssa Thomas. Like, that is one thing I would hate as a player. And I couldn't be happier that it's happening to her, by the way. I couldn't be happier. And again, let's not do this weird WNBA thing where they say getting booed is the equivalent of having a stalker or something. Or getting booed is the equivalent of having somebody like post your address online. Like, they're not the equivalent. I'm delighted Alyssa Thomas got booed. I'm absolutely delighted Alyssa Thomas got booed, if I'm being real. And yeah, the Indiana Fever, when it comes down to it, are like, they are still a big team. When it comes down to it, they're still a big team in the WNBA. They are still a team that people are going to go to see. People are still going to see Caitlin Clark if she shows up once. If she shows up once a year, and you're going to go and see her. Every single time you're going to go and see her if she goes and shows up to your team once every single year. The problem is that when it comes to Caitlin Clark, you don't even know if she's going to play anymore right now. You don't even know if she's going to play. But, yeah, look, I'm delighted. I'm absolutely delighted. And chat, do you guys think that that the Alyssa Thomas getting booed is, too far, or whatever the hell they would say in WNBA circles? Or do you guys think, like, obviously that this is sports, and it's what happens when you, as a local team, as a local team, has not managed to get enough of a fan base that you open it up and it's all away fans. Don't boo her at sports. Thank you. I'm just looking to get to see if there's still some sane people. There are still some sane people in the world. And thankfully it seems like there is. But yeah. I'm just happy about the scenario, especially because before this free throw, she looks over at Lexi Hall and starts laughing. I'm like, she could have been laughing at anything, but this is Alyssa Thomas. I don't think that Alyssa Thomas deserves the benefit of the doubt. I just don't think in general that AT ever deserves the benefit of the doubt in any of these scenarios, and I just don't. Personally, I just don't want to do that ever. I'll never give AT the benefit of the doubt in any of these scenarios. The only time is that she clearly did not intentionally hit Lexi Hall. There's no not giving the benefit of the doubt. Lexi Hall came in late as Alyssa Thomas was shooting a layup. There's no... Like, Lexi fouled Alyssa Thomas. Other than that, she was probably, happy. Knowing AT and what she's done, she's probably a bit happy about that. No one seems to like Alyssa Thomas as a person. I mean, Dwana Bonner clearly does. The Fever teammates clearly do. But you know who doesn't seem to like Alyssa Thomas? Aaliyah Boston. Aaliyah Boston does not seem to like Alyssa Thomas. And this is, some good old-fashioned rivalry. And let me time you out for a day. That's fucking wild. But Aaliyah Boston out here going and taunting Alyssa Thomas. And that's what you love to see. Not only that, let's not forget in Unrivaled. This happening right here. Where are we going? Let's not forget in Unrivaled. Aaliyah Boston is cooking Alyssa Thomas. She is cooking Alyssa Thomas. And where is the footage? Alyssa Thomas and Aaliyah Boston getting into it. Sorry, this is one of my videos. I couldn't find the actual clip of this. But Alyssa Thomas literally went out of her way to freaking go at Aaliyah Boston. So Aaliyah Boston, the whole game, Alyssa Thomas is going for Aaliyah Boston. And Aaliyah Boston is like, yeah, no, I'm gonna go at AT. I'm gonna go at AT here. And then AT could not guard Aaliyah Boston. And yeah, we just know that in that scenario, it was Alyssa Thomas who was pissed and tried to go after Aaliyah. Alyssa Thomas, am I right in saying, did Alyssa Thomas drop out in the 1v1 tournament so she didn't have to face Aaliyah? If that is the case, it would not surprise me. But this is, again, these Fever players don't like Alyssa Thomas. It is incredibly clear that they don't like Alyssa Thomas. And it was the weirdest part about all this is that it was incredibly clear in 2024 that they didn't like Alyssa Thomas. That was incredibly clear. And if you guys agree with that, subscribe. We are trying to, we're on track based on our current subscriber numbers. We will be on 0 subscribers by the end of this year based on the rate which we are currently losing subscribers. We will be at 0 subscribers by the end of the year. So you could either help us stay above 60K, or if not, you could help us go towards 0. I don't know. I can't control what you do. But if you could subscribe, we greatly appreciate it. But at the end of the day, why did you sign? Why did the fuck did you sign DeWanna Bonner? Why did you sign DeWanna Bonner? This is one of the most baffling things. It is very clear that, like, Aaliyah Boston, Caitlin Clark, the Indiana Fever team, they had no issue, by the way. They had no issue with DeWanna. You could tell by even the interactions that they had, that they were having when they were players. And at All-Star Weekend with Caitlin, they had no issue with DeWanna. None whatsoever with DeWanna. But if you have an issue with her wife, why sign her? As I'm saying, Candace Parker saying Aaliyah Boston MVP. No, that was literally, that was a preseason prediction. Like, there's no one's saying Candace Parker or Aaliyah's depoy right now. And I'm just delighted. I'm delighted that there was no bullshit and the Indiana Fever won on the court and they won while taunting. That's one of my favorite things about this, is that they won and they didn't win silently. They made sure as hell that, you know, the Phoenix Mercury knew. They made sure as hell that they got into the Phoenix Mercury's head. They made sure as hell they did. They won that game clean as anything. While the refs were trying to fuck them because the refs screwed Indiana. The refs absolutely screwed them. And, like, it is exactly what you want to see. And someone just said if the front office wanted low-risk basketball, why draft Caitlin Clark? Yeah, a different front office drafted Caitlin Clark. And also, even if you want low-risk basketball, who the fuck do you take in the 2024 draft? Cam Brink? No. Angel Reese? No one thought she was going to be good. Like, do you go and take Layla Lacan in a redraft number 1? I don't know. Maybe you take Lacan number 1 in a redraft, which is a wild statement to make, but maybe you take Lacan number 1. Maybe you tell Paige, we want you, we don't want Caitlin, you're going number 1. And she probably does enter the draft if you tell her she's a guarantee to go number 1. Maybe she does enter the draft. I don't know. But no, I'm just delighted to see AT getting booed in her own arena. I'm so happy to see her getting booed by her own fans. I'm happy to see Aaliyah Boston going and taunting her after going 3 of 5 from 3 in a game that the Fever won, despite the fact that the Fever did not play well. The refs were completely against the Fever. They were getting called for bad call after bad call. And not only that, let's be very clear. Alyssa Thomas has painted every single player on that Fever in a bad light, while also saying stuff so bad to Maisha Hines-Allen that Indiana Fever teammates justified Maisha Hines-Allen going after Alyssa Thomas. They basically said, yeah, she should have went after her. They publicly backed up Maisha Hines-Allen going after Alyssa Thomas because of what Alyssa Thomas said. And I'm glad that this is not something that's going to start narratives all over again. I'm glad. And it's one of those things now where you've got a player like AT who is, let's be real, not particularly well liked in the league. Well, not particularly well liked by opponents. I'm not going to say well liked in the league. Like, she's somebody that gets into it with everybody. There's no way in hell that the Minnesota Lynx teammates like her after what she did last year. She basically took a title away from Minnesota, who would have killed the Aces in the finals. Basically took a title away from Minnesota. And yeah, this is now one of these things where we got to see her, be humbled in the best way possible by getting cooked by a player that she basically tried to bully and unrivaled. And it's not going to work now because Aaliyah or Alyssa Thomas is not going to back down from anybody. So yeah, that is pretty much it for this part of the video. See you guys. If you type that in one more time, I'm going to mute you. Your 5-minute timeout. 5-minute timeout. Trade Caitlin. Okay. Okay, I guess. So, when it comes down to Caitlin Clark, we've got to talk about the media. We've got to talk about the media here. And it doesn't matter what side of the media you are on. It doesn't matter where you are. Caitlin Clark's not human. And that comes to Prime. That comes to a lot of, for me, that's even the games and stuff. Caitlin is subhuman to a lot of basketball analysts. She's subhuman to... I don't think she's being treated like a human in that Congress situation. I think it's an excuse for them to just go after the WNBA. I think that also, when it comes down to it, you've got people on these podcasts that don't know anything about Caitlin. You've got people on ESPN that may as well treat Caitlin Clark like she's subhuman. And I think in general that it's not good for her. Like, I genuinely think that when it comes to Caitlin, that everyone keeps saying Caitlin needs to speak out. Caitlin needs to speak out. They don't want Caitlin to speak out. They want Caitlin to just go. They want Caitlin to leave. They want Caitlin to leave. It's kind of as simple as that. They want Caitlin to leave. I don't know why you want, your main money draw to leave, because for me, it's more interesting trying to tear her down now than anything else. So you've now got freaking Jeff Teague's podcast, which is borderline mainstream media, saying silence is compliance about Caitlin Clark. And basically saying that she's MAGA. She can't keep dodging the question. What do you mean keep dodging the fucking question? She said last week, in 6 days, 6 days after she says, I don't agree with any of this, stop using my name. It's really hard on me. I'm human too. I don't like seeing my name being used in these situations. 6 days later, silence is compliance. What are we fucking doing? And then you've got before the game, 6 days later, can you please stop talking about the flagrant foul? No one deserves any hate. Please stop talking about the flagrant foul. 6 days, 2 weeks after it happens, they used the whole pregame to not talk about the game of basketball, to talk about a bullshit flagrant foul that was obviously a flagrant foul. They don't care. Whether it's Prime, whether it's ESPN, she's subhuman. She's subhuman to them. And that is so unfortunate. It's not that they want Caitlin to speak out against her fans. Caitlin Clark has spoken out against the people that use Caitlin Clark's name to push narratives every single time. She's done that hundreds of times. That's an exaggeration. She's done that double-digit numbers of times. She's done that double-digit numbers of times. You cannot say, there is only so many times you can say. And heck, the Time article, these same people that are now, Caitlin needs to speak out against these guys. 2 years ago, they were like, Caitlin's gone woke. Caitlin's gone woke. Oh my God. Read what Jason Whitlock was saying about her back then. Caitlin's gone woke. And now suddenly they can try to push Caitlin Clark's narrative again because someone went after her. Then it's like, Caitlin's Angie, who she's already speaking out about, needs to speak out against these people. It is the most nonsense thing ever. And from all sides. And let's be very clear, this is an all sides thing. This is an all sides thing. And I'm somebody who, as I've said tons of times, I come from Ireland. I started making these videos because I liked watching Caitlin Clark play basketball. I watched Caitlin Clark in Iowa before the summer that she broke out. I was one of those people, as crazy as this sounds, I was one of those people in 2021, because everybody knows Paige Bueckers was more popular than Caitlin Clark in 2021. I was one of those people that when everyone was talking about Paige, And there are people that can back me up to this because I used to stream Caitlin Clark highlights in 2022, in 2021, 2022. In Caitlin Clark's sophomore year, I used to stream Caitlin Clark shooting from the logo, watching her highlights to 1,000 people. There are people that can back me up on this. And then I looked into a situation where I started posting NBA videos. The Caitlin Clark videos did really well. And I got to enjoy watching a basketball player who I felt was the most fun basketball player. Obviously, the basketball is not as fun anymore. There's injuries. Her coach doesn't want her to play her game. The team isn't as fun to watch. Even when Caitlin's firing on all cylinders, her game comes down to makes her misses. Some days she's so good that she's still fun to watch. But the team and the system, and it's not Showtime anymore. It's not Showtime anymore. It is literally it. Someone says they want Caitlin to explicitly condemn her fans, not just racist and abstract trolls. No, yeah. She wants Caitlin Clark to condemn the 8-year-old sitting in the stands. They want Caitlin Clark to basically pull a Maya Moore, to go out and say, I don't want any of you guys, all you fans, all you kids, all you fans, you're horrible. You see these like 12-year-olds that are sitting in the stands, you're all racist, go support somebody else, and then they want her to leave. That is literally it. Because let's be very clear. There are 2 million people that watch Caitlin Clark play basketball. What percentage in life, in everything? I always say 95% of people are grand. 2.5% on either extreme are a problem. We're now at the stage in the world where maybe 7.5% of people on either extreme are a problem. And the vast majority, 85% of people, are grand. There's no issue with 85% of people. Wherever you are on the spectrum, whether you're leaning one way or leaning another way, you're not far enough of an extreme where you're actually like causing any harm. 85% of people, they want Caitlin gone. They don't want Caitlin. They want Caitlin literally to list off a whole bunch of statements and be like, I'm this person, I'm a racist, all of you guys that are fans of me are racist, I need to leave to make this league better. That is what they wanted to do. That is what the media wants to do. They're tearing her down as a human. They're not tearing her down as a basketball player. They are tearing her down as a human. Caitlin Clark will never win at the next level. Her style. I mean, we don't know. We don't know that. Literally, there are 2 players in the WNBA right now that have won as the 1A on a championship team, and it's Angel Wilson and Breanna Steward. There are 2 current players in the WNBA who have won as the 1A. So we don't know. We don't know if it's even like. We have no idea. Everyone says you can't win with a certain style until they win with a certain style. You can't win with a small point guard. Brunson did it. You can't win with young players. The Spurs got to the finals this year. You can't win. Had CP3 not gotten injured, Harden would have won a ring. Like, you can say what you want to say. Everything is like, if you want to look at the league as a copycat, the problem is the sports are a copycat league and teams do dumb shit. Like the Boston Celtics, allegedly, one of the reasons they were comfortable trading Jaylen Brown was because they think Peyton Pritchard is going to be Jalen Brunson. So it goes from, these small players are 6 men, and suddenly Jalen Brunson wins a ring. So now it's, oh shit, we think we have our Jalen Brunson. No, it's dumbass copycat league. And the problem is with all of this is that, like, there are dickheads on every side. There are awful people on every side. Like, let's be very clear. Like, to act like this thing on Threads isn't even a thing. Where Alyssa Thomas, or where AT, or Aaliyah Boston is now a disgrace to her race. Why? Because she plays for the Indiana Fever and did this. Like, we're at that stage now where that's the case. And that is the online hate you can't control. That is the online hate you can't control. I genuinely don't want, like, in a lot of situations, like, I don't want the WNBA to care about that. The problem, like, yes, there are certain things where it goes too far, but at this stage, like, the referees are bad, everything is bad. The media, I think the media realizes now that, you know, Caitlin Clark is no longer an interesting enough player to cover as a basketball player, and I hate to say that, and it's because of the system. As great as Caitlin Clark is, you don't turn on a game in June. You don't turn on a random regular season game in June and watch Caitlin Clark play 100 miles an hour and setting up her team to go on a 20-0 run rebounds, passes, pushing the floor. This team doesn't play in transition anymore. Like, you've got a 10 out of the best transition player in the league on a team who doesn't want to play transition. So Caitlin's strengths aren't being there, and she's basically just make or miss. And so that's no longer an interesting enough story. So then you've now got you've now got a situation where you've got the media that are like, okay, we can't really talk about Caitlin Clark's basketball, so we're gonna continue this bullshit race narrative. And that's from all sides. You've got one side that's gone so far as fucking Congress is there to defend Caitlin, and you've got the other side that is now saying silence is compliance when she spoke out against this shit a week ago. Like, they literally, like, at this stage, it's like, okay, do they want Caitlin Clark to speak every single day? No, because they know no matter what she says, it's never going to be enough. She's subhuman to them. She is subhuman to them. And yeah, it is what it is. Anyway, see you guys. Oh no, something's gone wrong. Oh no, something's gone seriously wrong. Oh no, something's gone really wrong. This is not good. Oh no. You don't. This has either gone into one of two scenarios. This has either gotten so under the skin of the Fever that they're this has now either gotten so under the skin of the Fever that they have to talk about it, or, which could also be the case, this is a real narrative, and the Indiana Fever, the front office or the higher ups are like, stop. We need this narrative to stop. Well, not there's a real narrative, that something is actually going on behind the scenes. And either of these are bad. Neither of these are good scenarios for the Fever. Neither of these are good. When you're GM, someone says, Fever fans, we appreciate you. We can't thank you enough for always showing up. And someone replies, Amber Cox is always loud after a win without CC. She replies, nonsense, you know who's also happy after every win? CC. Because this is a team full of people who celebrate and care for one another. And like all of them, she's a great teammate. We cannot wait to have her back on the floor. Like, you can, obviously, nothing she said is wrong there. Caitlin Clark clearly is happy. She is a great teammate. No one that's ever played with Caitlin Clark will ever tell you she's a bad teammate. She's attacking a Caitlin Clark fan account on Twitter. Who is her name? Where's her name? Jamel Hill. Fuck's sake! I just realized that. No, this isn't good. This isn't good. The GM is responding to social media trolling, or not even social media trolling, online bullshit, online narratives that could be bullshit, could not be bullshit. Let's be very clear. Like, we don't know what the hell's going on internally with the Fever. We can all make speculations. We can all make guesses based on what we've seen. We can all speculate. That's sports. We don't know. They could be the greatest locker room of all time. But like, this is not good. Oh no. She almost got ratioed by someone saying it's not going away. We see you for what you are. Jesus Christ. Seriously, it's not an art of your coach and front office make it very obvious. Why you respond to these people no matter what you say, it'll be a problem. Why are they responding? Because this whole situation is becoming a problem. And why is it a problem? We don't know. Crazy of time to go back and forth with fans. I have you here. The home attendance gone every year. I mean this. Why did they not spend the whole off season looking overseas? Why did they not spend everybody knew if there's going to be a season. If there's not going to be a season, you don't have a job anyway. But like, this is like Ty Harris responding to fans. No, it's worse. It is so much worse when it is your GM. and not a player responding to negative posts about herself. This is so much worse. This is so much worse. Because, like, again, a year ago, I said, I see y'all online chatter, I'm glad the fan base is so passionate about the Fever. And let's be real, like, Amber Cox has followed. Like, if you look at the biggest hater accounts on Twitter, Amber Cox follows most of them. Amber Cox is out there getting in pictures with Cindy Brunson and Cheryl Swoops 2 weeks after becoming the 2 weeks after becoming the GM for Caitlin Clark. But this isn't good. This isn't good at all. And again, the reason why it's not good is not that Amber Cox is necessarily wrong for trying to stand up for herself. That's just not, like, that's not why it's bad. This whole scenario is bad because when it comes to the Indiana Fever, you kind of need to have, like, you need to be able to just not look online with this specific team. Like, with this specific team, you have to be okay with just ignoring the social media bullshit. And if you're not okay with ignoring the social media stuff, then you shouldn't be involved in any way with the Fever. Because, unfortunately, there's going to be always social media narratives. And to respond when Amber Cox never responds means one of two things. Someone has said Caitlin's not going to be a star. When she accepts her role, she will fit in. If Caitlin Clark has to be a role player, send her ass to China. I'm not joking. She's just not a role player. It's like saying Trae Young needs to be 3 or like she's better than Trae Young, but it's like saying Steve Nash needs to be 3-and-D. It's like going to Steve Nash. You know, you have to figure out how to be a 3-and-D player. It's like, okay, yeah, you're not an NBA player if you're a 3-and-D player. It is what it is. And look, I think we can be very clear. Whether it's through, I think everyone needs to be honest here. Whether it's the fault of the front office, the fault of the coach, there's no point, like, we don't know exactly what to do when it comes to the out blame game. But rather than, even if we're not playing the blame game, we can be very clear that based on Caitlin's hype coming into the league and based on how good Caitlin was in that first rookie season, I think you can make a very much argument that whether it's injury related, whether it was the trainers they brought in that bulked her up too much, whether it was the off season where they fucked up her mechanics, like, since the front office and coaching change and everything changed, Caitlin could have 2 wasted seasons. She could have 2 wasted seasons. And it's funny because her rookie year has still not been, no guard has played as well as Caitlin Clark. No guard since Caitlin's entered the league has been as good as rookie Caitlin Clark. That is a fact. No guard has been as good since no guard has been as good or as impactful as rookie Caitlin Clark after she kind of figured it out, which was probably late June. From the Mercury game, where she was 1 rebound off triple-double till the end of the season, there has been no guard over that spell that has been as good as what Caitlin Clark was in that spell. Like, Caitlin Clark, they played back-to-back games with the Aces, and coming into that back-to-back, there was questions of, if the Fever win these 2 games, they overtake the Aces in the rankings. Does Caitlin Clark win MVP? The Fever lost both of them. Caitlin Clark and Aja, in fairness, were bad in both of those games. Neither of them were good, neither of them. So it was clearly Aja going to win unanimous. But, like, there was conversations about, is Caitlin Clark the MVP? And no, what Caitlin Clark did at that stage is way better than what not way better, but slightly better than what Olivia Ma is doing right now. And I got to be real here. Like, fans always look for somewhere to point a finger, and they will always point a finger at the GM. They'll always point a finger at the coaches, especially fans when you've got star players in your teams. That happens. That's sports. That's sports. It is what it is. But, like, if you're going and clapping back on Twitter, then for me, that signals one of two things. Or it signals one thing, that somebody or that this narrative is affecting, whether it be the team, the front office, the organization, that this narrative is affecting them. Whether it's affecting them because there is some truth to it, and they know that this narrative will tank Caitlin Clark's trade value if they're going to want to trade her. Whether this narrative is affecting Caitlin Clark and they're like, oh shit, this narrative has truth to it, but when Caitlin comes back, we know we have to play her. And the problem is that, like, well, we know we have to play her, but, like, she's going to be playing badly. Or the narrative is complete bullshit and they don't want it to be there. Like, I don't know which is which, and we can all speculate on whatever. We can all speculate based on what we've seen. The only people I know are people in that organization. But we also have to take into account that it's affecting them. Like, it is affecting them. Because you don't hear, like, GMs clapping with fans on Twitter. Like clapping back at fans on Twitter. Like, I don't really know what precedent we have for that. And I don't even not know what precedent we have for that. Like, because there's definitely precedent for that. The problem is that now, it's very, very clear that any time stuff like this has happened, not all is good. Not all is good. And we don't know why. We don't know if the players are, everything's going great. Because if things are going well, you see these narratives and laugh. You just do. If things are going well, if there's no pressure, if everything is sunshine and rainbows, you see this stuff and laugh. Anyone who's ever been involved in something where you've got a lot of, online people and what your actions affect kind of how, your actions kind of affect how, there's going to be conversations about your actions. So, like, you do something and there's going to be a conversation about it. Anyone who's been in that scenario knows that when things are going well and you do something and the conversation is even in a way you don't like, you laugh it off. And obviously, I've never been part of a conversation anywhere close to the size of this one. But, like, I've been in a position, especially, again, 6 years ago, like, I was a top 0.01% streamer. I was a top 300 English-speaking streamer in the world. I averaged 4,000 or 5,000 concurrence for a couple of months. And there was a lot of narratives that would be pushed online about you, and you kind of, even if you don't read it, you just laugh at it when things are going really well. And then those same narratives kind of happen when you're on a bit of a downturn and it starts to affect you. And you start clapping back. Like, anyone who's been in that scenario knows how it happens. The problem is that we don't know why, but it's very clear something's going on internally. But anyway, yeah. See you guys. So yeah, I'm going to end the stream right there. I got to run. I got to go. My friend just got married today, so I got to go have drinks afterwards. But yeah. Anyway, I'll see you guys.